Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. My name is Gary Turner, founder of Hexo Change, a transformational change practice. And I'd love to have a chat with you. Should you be interested in anything, you can find at hexochangenow.com. But today, the reason I'm going live is to narrate one of my previous blogs, actually from back in October. So it's a couple of months old. But I'm struggling today, to be honest. Struggling with what's becoming increasingly clear at just the complete misdirection and greenwashing and just avoidance of the cold, hard scientific truth that we are literally destroying ourselves. And it's just business as usual. Crack on. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll turn this all around. As long as the financial markets think it's okay, then we'll all be fine. And it's just bordering on insanity. Anyway, what I'm going to share is a blog that I wrote a while back, because what I'm trying to do is make any of my writing more accessible. So this will actually then become a podcast in future months. It's also then available for people that may have different learning styles, or they may have different abilities or disabilities around hearing or speech or etc. So really just trying to make any of my content as accessible as possible, and always looking to improve that as well. So here is the blog that I wrote back on the 16th of October. Look at that, 2 full calendar months exactly ago that I wrote this piece called The Rollercoaster of Misdirection. As always with my pieces, these are always about staying curious, asking questions, trying to sense for yourself what your version of truth is versus what's going on in the world. Nice little ping there from my emails. Very sorry about that. I'll pop that down. So yeah, let me get into it. So The Rollercoaster of Misdirection is this piece, which I wrote on the 6th of October. So this actual picture was part of my, what I call the creativity burst, when I was at the beginning of the lockdown, just started doing a bit more drawing, of course, copying, tracing, etc. But this one is the Rollercoaster of Misdirection, and long overdue, as I say. Is meant to put it at the bottom to increase accessibility. So here we are. So we live in confusing times, not sure who to trust, polarization at every turn, a real sense of ostrich syndrome, just stick my head in the ground and hope it all sorts itself out. I am so guilty personally of that historically, and I still am on occasion today, but still trying to work through that, trying to have more debate, more dialogue around the stuff that really matters, which is pretty existential these days. So I truly believe that the antidote to many of our current challenges is a deepening of connection to ourselves, to one another, and to systems at large. With this last connection circle, as I call them, being one that I was personally least aware of until recent times. So again, there's no judgment in any of this. It really is just provocative questioning and inquiry I'm looking to try and share with you. So these 3 areas are indeed the core focus of my work at Hexo Change, a transformational change practice for individuals and teams grounded in emergence and exploration. You'll see that as we go down. Indeed, I was personally significantly disconnected to myself and systems at large in particular until a few years ago, after decades of emotional suppression following childhood bullying and various dysfunctions that followed that, and a myopic focus on me, all while seeking to progress within one of the most extractive industries on the planet, one that still funds and supports my lifestyle today. So I deeply empathize with our current predicament. You know, we are all of these different concurrent systems and interweaves and complexities and hypocrisies all at the same time. And it's how do we work through all of that individually and collectively. So one of my solutions how to do that, I believe each one of us is absolutely an exponential human. We've done so much focus on exponential technology, but how often do we focus on us as the connected human race, the good part of us, the innovative part, the connected part? Very, very rarely, I found, certainly in my own experience of life. So what I'm looking to do is try and hold space for individuals and teams, particularly those of mission-driven startup scale-ups and those looking to change their ways, to focus in 3 areas: connection, playfulness, and context and integration. So if that's of interest, do drop me a line, but that's not what this is about today. So the Rollercoaster of Misdirection is one playful way. Back to that, it is relevant. How do we stay playful? How do we run experiments? How do we stay curious and inquire, etc.? So this rollercoaster of misdirection is one playful way as part of what I'm calling my adventure land of confusion, which is a whole range of different rides, again, around this way of playing to express, really, is to help bring to life some of the tensions that I'm feeling regularly at this time. And my goodness, am I feeling them even more this morning, in case they're helpful provocations or reflections for you. So here are some of the real life examples for me. So which voices and communities are we not hearing from and or considering in the West as we continue the growth and accumulate at all cost ways? Indeed, who and what is indeed being oppressed due to this? Question mark. The well-intentioned focus on developing inclusive, healthier organizational culture at a chemical raw material manufacturer, yet at the same time, the company in question is producing deadly chemical raw materials from fossil fuel feedstocks with no real sustainable alternative. This is a real life example within my industry sector. My invitation here to stay conscious of not only the human progress at work that we're focusing on, but the holistic, systemic impact of the entire business model, inverted commas, at work. So, you know, it's all, with all due respect, it's great being in people, culture, HR, sales, whatever, diversity and inclusion. But if you're doing those roles and the business model is actually toxic and killing life, do we need to be reevaluating and challenging that? I would say yes. Another example would be the well-intentioned regenerative agricultural approach by a leading global food manufacturer that is actually offering products to consumers that are based on monocrops, single crops, destroying indigenous and local community wisdom, and indeed leading to increased flooding due to worsening soil health. Real life examples of this happening even here in the UK this year. Invitation, educate yourself on where your food actually comes from. Big work in progress for me personally, but the local versus global is for sure a trend that I'm observing and looking to take an increasingly active interest in. The well-intentioned petrochemical manufacturer that is seeking to offer greener solvent alternatives to fossil fuels, yet the end product will still be majority fossil fuel based under, inverted commas, a mass balance program. However, their leadership is super progressive and focused on being more human-centered. Another invitation here, this paradox: stay aware of and keep questioning the full up and downstream supply chain. The well-intentioned government who believes that offering 5,000 short-term visas to foreign HGV lorry drivers will help unlock what is 100,000 driver shortage in the UK alone, of which only 300 applications have been received and only 30 drivers are physically on UK roads. A 0.03% effective solution on what is an aging workforce with less and less people coming into the industry. This is a real life UK example right now, and it's still a real life example 2 months on from this blog. So an invitation here: consider the tougher meteor question of what are we giving away by relying so much on a global supply chain today. Just one example. You may have other questions, and I'd love to hear from you if you do have them. The maybe or maybe not so well-intentioned energy oligarch that can decide at will to switch off at global energy supply, pretty much all of which come from the dominant group in terms of power and not number, white and male. Just historic reference, but a current reference as well today. My invitation: I would so love to be in dialogue with you and to see how you would engage, challenge and debate this blog. So I'm asking that of the energy oligarch, the business leader, and also individuals as well, particularly those working in the corporate space. I shared the below poll on LinkedIn a few days ago, and this is back again middle of October 2022, around choosing between food and fuel. Sounds a bit crazy. How often do we have that discussion at home, even around the dinner table? On the surface, and the results bear this out, it's obvious. We go for food. I'll just pop down to that. You can see of the 61 people that voted, 98% said, of course, you go for food over fuel. But some people would still choose to put fuel in their car than eat, which is, I don't know, for me, that's pretty damn concerning. So we go for food, but do you know that McDonald's and many other brands' lorries run on biodiesel, and that biodiesel is derived from rapeseed oil as a feedstock? That means then today choices are being made every day between whether we use food crops for food, for eating, or for fuel. We often just don't realize it. We certainly don't have that debate enough, I don't think, in society. So in addition to some of the bio-based chemicals that are on offer and are being developed, which are more biodegradable and less harmful to the environment, but if it's a choice between maize for foodstuffs or maize for a chemical, what do you choose? Now, but what if it's a bio-based chemical that goes into making a life-saving cancer drug? What then? But what if that bio-based chemical is derived from a monocrop that is actually harming the soil? So these are really complex network challenges that require complex network solutions, but not just global north/western led. pause. Yes, we must defer to those countries that we currently class in the West as developing. Those countries that actually are in Africa, that are in Indonesia, Southeast Asia, Latin America, those people that are actually quite often having their ways of life oppressed and damaged by our Western corporate expansion, they actually hold the key, what I'm learning, to much of this change that we need to bring in into our ways of life here in the West and globally. So an invitation to stay super, super curious. Please stay super curious. There's so much more we need to understand and co-create and reimagine together. So the well-intentioned human, me, Gary Turner, that shares all of these above insights and reflections from a place of knowing in my body, not just in my head, but in my head, my whole body, that operating within both local and global contexts concurrently, yet whom continues I do to perpetuate all of the above by the phone that I use, the food that I eat, the drinks that I put in my body, and the technology that I leverage. Invitation, hold me to account and check in with me to see how I'm progressing against all of these. That's a genuine invitation. Please do. Everything, and indeed everybody, is interconnected and interdependent. We cannot take one topic of focus and believe that we can solve it in isolation. Everything requires a networked, connected solution if we're to turn around our planetary and social injustice challenges at an individual, team, and systems level. To turn these challenges around is good for business. No planet, no business. So I just want to hold that, like, no planet, no business. Can we please get out of our heads and our backsides around ESG and, focusing on sustainability and planning for the next annual cycle of budgeting? It's madness. It's absolute madness that we are not just looking at these systemic levers as front and center. Just blows my mind. By the way, I do keep trying to wave this flag within my own organization, sector and beyond, but it's pretty hard work. Changes inside job. So I continue to work on my own addictions, and that's what they are. Addictions to convenience, addictions to mediocrity, addictions to choice, addictions to privilege. Indeed, I wrote a piece called "Do You Have a Line or a Full House of Addiction Bingo?" on Dennis Picotto's Biz Catalyst 360 platform, in case you're curious. You can find that if you go to hexochangenow.com. You'll be able to click through all of these links, hyperlinks in the blog. So lots of things in here: addicted to boys culture, addicted to becoming successful, addicted to competition, addicted to sugary drinks. This is just a lot of things that these are all addictions I've gone through, and so many that I'm still actually sitting in today. This is obviously back 2 months ago. I'm also looking forward. I took part in a wonderful Hawkwood Centre for Future Thinking Climate Action Lab. It's a brilliant experience, so amazing, and I would recommend you go up and sign up for any of the work that they're doing at the Hawkwood Centre for Future Thinking. Brilliant organisation. Another invitation for me, it's so easy, innocently. I keep using the word innocent, and my spiritual guide Sam helps me with this. Innocent if you don't know, not innocent if you are conscious but continue to perpetuate your ways. That's just a conscious cognitive dissonance, and we need to try and work through that together, individually and collectively. So, as you can say, to stay myopically busy and focus on separation, but we're social beings, and we are nature. We're not part of it. We are it. We are literally it. Without it, we are no longer here. We are gone. So one non-judgmental yet deeply exploratory space took place across 20th. Will take place across the 20th and the 21st of July, 2022, called the Human Development Space. We ran the first one during September 2021, and it was incredible. And you can find out more from the gathering that took place. So many shifts for so many different people. We co-created the agenda. We totally just facilitated together. Joe Homstead was my key partner, but we all just held space. We had Jane Head Grant leading a thinking environment session. We had Kate Griffiths leading a colour session. We had Ava doing a wonderful, wrapping up the 2 days with a meditation out in the 170 acres of grounds. We had Marie Smith doing an incredible, excuse me, hit me really hard, vision board session. We also had Shelley, the CEO of the Jim Cronin Memorial Fund, doing a beautiful talk, telling us why their work there at Monkey World and beyond is so important. So you can find out more again if you go to hexochangenow.com. And I continue to sense into all of this, and this post is an invitation to you, whoever you are, however you receive this message, and a reminder to me also to go exploring also deeply within yourself, reimagine the relationships with others and nature, and get curious about the true interconnectedness and interdependence of, well, everything, and again, and everybody. I hope you find some value in these musings. Please do let me know what pops up for you, what emerges, anything and everything at all, including considered challenges. Constructive challenges are welcome. Flinging matches from either side is pointless. Constructive, thought through, critical challenges, please bring them on. I'll also make meet and greet sessions available every Thursday and Friday. For anyone that just might be interested, connect socially. You can book a slot again via this blog on my website, hexochangenow.com. I'm always keen to meet and learn, I'll put an L in there, with open-minded, open-hearted and action-orientated humans. Have a great morning, afternoon or evening wherever you are in the world. And again, you can subscribe to receive content like this direct to your inbox at hexochangenow.com. I'm also offering one-to-one and team support, as well as an incredible CEO executive retreat across the 5th and 7th of April 2022, again with my co-facilitator and space holder, Joe Homstead. It feels even more true that for me today, that it feels even more meaningful, more deep, more marinated, critically important, this post actually for me personally, but I also hope it adds value to you. It's just so important now that we start having the real conversations. We get out of our heads and our backside. Sorry to use that phrase again. It's just insane that we're not centering. It's not just environment. It's not just talking about how do we, not be as toxic on the environment. We're about how do we give life to ourselves, our others, and also those people far away from our shores that continue to be oppressed just to let us live this busy life that we all live today. So as always, no judgment intended, just lots of provocative reflections, questions and inquiry. So yeah, if you like that, do sign up and I hope to hear from you soon. Have a wonderful day. And I feel a bit cathartic and a little bit more, I feel better for expressing this myself. So even if nobody's listening, thank you, universe, for creating the space and the technology. And much love to you all. Stay safe.